because my computer is acting really, really crazy right about now.
No problem. Sister Ashley, are you there?
I
I,
am here.
yeah, and I saw Sister Q and Brother
Yes.
Steve. Yeah,
And
so
we also
goodness
have
gracious.
Dr. Ball with us as
And
well.
Dr.
Hello.
Ball, I saw, I'm on the phone because we couldn't get it in my computer either. Mercury is seriously retrograde. But
Yeah.
I can see, yeah, I can see you. And so, yeah, we happened to have a friend of ours visit and we followed that little mission of that, just that spirit calling us back. And so what I had seen in that vision of where I was supposed to stand in the old hotel is not there. But I was there. I was in the intersection of Toomsboro. I went to the Dollar General, and of course, probably it is the one you go to. I
Yes.
said to her, I said, so if there were a main street of town or the heart of town, where would it be? And she was like, right there. And I was like, okay, okay. And so we began to really stomp in the hood a little bit, and so yeah, we did. We stomped in the hood of Toomsboro today and came back. And so I'm interested in so many parts, even though we've met and seen each other, that you share with us. What was your journey? What was the trail? What brought you to even have the inclination to say, I'm gonna buy some land in Toomsboro and I'm gonna invite 18 other families to just help me out with this, and God's gonna lead the way. Tell us that story. It's a great story.
Absolutely. Well, first, I just want to say thank you to the ancestors because they indeed have guided us thus far along the way. And it's been divinely, it was all divine timing, is what I constantly say. This was an ordaining and a collective manifestation of all of our hopes, dreams, and the work that we put in. And so when Toomsboro presented itself, it's that age old adage that luck is opportunity that meets preparation. And so we've been preparing for quite some time. And when the Toomsboro opportunity arrived, we were able to say and hear the spirit when it said, this is it. And so we had started this journey around June 8th when Renee Walters, our president of the Freedom Georgia Initiative, sent me a viral article that was about Toomsboro, Georgia, a small town for sale for the price of a New York apartment at $1.7 million. And when she sent it to me, she said, sis, did you see the article? I said, nope, I have not. But if you want to go see Toomsboro, let's run it. Let's go do it.
Let's roll.
And so we started doing some research on June 8th. And we joined a couple of Facebook groups where people were talking about buying Toomsboro and other Black towns, because we weren't the only Black folk that seen that. Other people did. And we found out when we joined these groups, buying Toomsboro and other Black towns, that they were having an open house on that coming Monday or Tuesday. I think it was June 15th. And so myself and Renee prepared to take the trip because we were like, we're going to go. If nothing else, we're going to go just to be nosy, just to see what's going to happen. And so when we decided to go, I called my good friend Q, and Q and Steve said, yeah, we down the road. And it's always good to have a few friends that's down the road, right? And so we decided to take the trip to Toomsboro to see what all the hoopla was about. And me being a real estate agent, not only did we go see the open house, but I lined up a few other parcels of land in the area because I said to myself that if it is anything worth, investing in, then we need to see what all the options are. And so I lined up some opportunities to go see other lands. And so we went to Toomsboro. We spent the better part of 4 or 5 hours there that day looking at all the old inn, the old cotton warehouse, the old the old railroad tracks and their depot. We looked at the syrup factory that they had there. We looked at a restaurant and an old opera house and an old bank. And we got to talk to the neighbors. We got to talk to the folks there. And we got to talk to 50 other Black real estate agents and investors who had traveled from North Carolina, Alabama, and different parts of Georgia just to see what was going down in Toomsboro. So there was an energy. The ancestors called us at this time to come to Toomsboro. And though we did not buy what they had for sale, the 36 parcels and the 46 acres of land and the opera house and the bed and breakfast and the syrup mill and the cotton warehouse and the freight depot, we didn't buy it because, for one, they wanted $1.7 million, but it would still take additional money just to fix up all the stuff that they had for sale. So it was going to be some more additional investment. And so we got done the open house and we decided to go, after meeting a few of the people, to go see those other lands that I had scheduled. And we drove to maybe 2 other ones and we were like, okay. And then we drove to the last land that we ended up purchasing, which is right behind me. I'm gonna move my screen. And it was beautiful. It was as if we heard God and our ancestors say, this is it, my child. Like, this is for you. This is the land that I have set aside for you to possess and to pioneer. And once we said, look, I looked at Renee looked at me, I was like, we can buy this for ourselves, but it's going to take so much infrastructure, so much work to put homes on it, to farm it, to turn it into this community that we want it to be. Let's consider bringing our friends together to help to turn this 97 acres into something that we could all be proud of and that could be a lasting legacy. And she said, Ashley, you get 10 of your friends, I'll get 10 of my friends, and we can do this. And that's what we did. We left that day. I have a background in marketing. I made a little flyer and I sent it out to all of the people who are like-minded individuals, people that we know are optimistic, people who are up for a task and tenacious and have the ability to say, what if versus not, what we can't do, but what we can do if we put our minds to it. So we sent it out to all the right people, right? And then we made a PowerPoint presentation. I pulled all the information I could find about Wilkinson County, about Toomsboro, about the land. And I made a really gorgeous PowerPoint presentation. And about a week, not even a week, maybe 2 days later, we had the meeting with all of the friends and family that we invited. We didn't know if people were going to show up or not, but they did. We had almost maybe 25 people on the call on our first call. But before we could get off the call, 10 people said, sign me up. And then we had another call. And by the next morning, the people who didn't say sign me up on the spot said sign me up the next day. And then it was a few people who was like sign me up, but they didn't necessarily have their finances in order, and they didn't have all the information that they needed to feel secure in going through a transaction. And so we ended up with 19 families at the end of it all. And it was divinely orchestrated every step of the way. And we closed on the land, and first we built a LLC with all 19 families on it. And then we put an offer on the land. Our offer was accepted, and we closed within a 45-day period, and we purchased the land. And we didn't have a whole lot of plans, but we just knew that it was a great opportunity. It was a no-brainer. We got the land at a great price that was affordable for us, and we saw all the potential and the possibilities of what it could be when we got the opportunity to allow our wildest imagination and creativity to run wild. We knew we could do something as entrepreneurs that could change the world. And during our due diligence period, we come to find that the land we purchased was not actually in Toomsboro. It's on the city limits of Toomsboro. And so while we have a Toomsboro zip code, we are under the jurisdiction of no one except for the county and the state. And when I found that out, that's when we had the eureka moment that, hey, not only will we purchase this land and create it as a thriving safe haven for us, but we're going to create a municipality, a city that can be a shining example of what happens when Black people get together and build something for us, by us. And that's how the Freedom Georgia Initiative's goal of becoming the 8th city of Wilkinson County, the city of Freedom, Georgia, came about when we found out that, hey, this land is not actually under the jurisdiction of the city of Toomsboro, but it could be under the jurisdiction of our own leadership, and we could create something special for us, by us.
So powerful, you know, and you're sharing, of course, with the daughter of, you know, Oyotunji African Village, 50th year. This year, they were founded in 1970, and kind of those journeys, a whole nother story of how those 9, you're 19, I am watching the 9s. If you notice, that bell rang 9 times, that completion, that vibration of, like you said, we're here, this is it. Is just coming into play, and you know, the possibilities of so many parts, and why now, and just the synchronicity and the universe of having the readiness of people like, yeah, sign me up, I'm down, you know, and to have that kind of unity in a time where all of us would look around and say, oh my God, there's so much chaos, we can't even hardly see the unity. Do we have any unity? Do we really remember how to be down for one another like that? Like land and farming and raising our kids, and yeah, being a shining star. And so, yeah, I haven't fully read as much as I would love to know about Wilkinson County and its history, and really, you know, even from the permaculture and the ecological point of the land, yeah, of what is it grown, what is it aged, what were some of the origins in that part of the earth. And I do think it's almost very powerful for those who are familiar with the various darker parts of Toomsboro's past, that it would sit just off there where the resurrection could happen from that dark past into something as powerful as Freedom, Georgia. And so, yeah, I guess having, you know, attended the big Black camp out, which was fabulous, and people again coming from all over the nation into it, and goodness, right, news reporters, and so you're watching that evolution of it. So I'm asking now that, you know, people, obviously it's in the wind. We're getting ready to come up on some events, and so more and more energy is building. What would you like people who are lit up by the fact that this has happened, and should they join the Freedom Georgia Initiative? How then do they say, I want to be a part of that, or I want to at least support them? I want to watch what they do. I want to watch how they're building. I'll see my place in it. I'll see what part I can come to be a part of it. What would you say to people like that?
Yeah, so first off, we're an LLC, we're a business, the Freedom Georgia Initiative. Like I said, those 19 families came together and we started a private-owned, Black-owned, woman-owned, veteran-managed LLC. So at its core, we are a business. And so there will be opportunities for people to come on board as employees, as volunteers. And then as we purchase this next acreage of land, we're in the process of closing on 404 acres of land in this area. People will be able to purchase homes. People will be able to bring their businesses to the future city of Freedom, Georgia. So when it comes down to it, it's not necessarily something you can join. You can't join FGI LLC. But what you can do is help us to manifest this vision by becoming a responsible entrepreneur, by becoming a homeowner, by investing in the area, by purchasing a plot of land in this future city of Freedom, Georgia. I'm a realtor. So at the end of the day, my goal is to help people purchase land and purchase homes so that then they can have a legacy and wealth that they can pass down to their children. And that way, they can start businesses on those lands and in those homes so that they can pass that down to their children and their grandchildren, because legacy really is what this is about, and economic empowerment and building economic power for Black folks and Native Americans and indigenous people. That's what it's all about for us. So we have partnered with the Black Achievement Fund. And for those people who like to join, who feel like I need to be a part of something, I need to put my money where my mouth is, through our strategic partnership with the Black Achievement Fund, that's what you can join. And that will help us to not only build Freedom Georgia up, but it will also help us to build other programs and municipalities in other cities and states. Because what we're doing in Freedom, Georgia, and in Wilkinson County is just one thing. We need to be doing this all over the country and create what I like to call freedom communities, subdivisions, villages, coming back to this idea of we are a tribe, an intergenerational tribe of elders and young people and children that are all working together in their purpose to be able to have a thriving community that keeps and recycles our money, and not just our money, but our intrinsic value. The intrinsic value, when we are giving our talents, our gifts, our skill sets to one another in service of the community, that's much more valuable than any dollars anybody can give us, because dollars could go away tomorrow. But when you have a strong community with farming and water and resources and and educators who are teaching the children and farmers who are farming so the people can have food and infrastructure in place, we don't need money when we have each other. And that's where we can eventually go if we can start to get into this idea of what, you know, real value looks like. And real value is in community.
Well, my mind went to 1,000 places, probably longer. We'd be here a long time, but a long time, because, you know, we come from a background of earth skills, of that reconnection with nature, of most importantly, and I hear that and I say to myself, you know, imagining all of the freedom communities and villages and Wakandas and different knits of Black people, West Coast, you know, Chicago, that have done it, that have created, you know, the name freedom isn't on it yet, but I've been there. I've seen their raised beds. I've seen, all the parts that they're doing, the Betty Shabazz Center for Food and Nutrition, you know what I mean? So I have seen them go and get the 70 acres or do it. And here's what I found in some places, which I'm very glad to say, in more northern, unfortunately, because the traumas of the agriculture, the slavery, the underpart that is definitely still vibing my whole area of the ancestral repairs that are necessary for these not only successful entrepreneurs or BIPOC people who are rebuilding the inside of their strength as a people and as a community. But I look at what has disconnected in nature itself. What makes you intrinsically know that if you do this right by the land as you're building the city will do right by you. That is the sustainability of it. We can look at our cities that are crumbling, the corruption, the pollution, where the arrogance of man in its relationship to the earth or nature was out of balance. Out of balance. And so, you know, that's why I say that's a big area of the type of education that comes with almost every facet of what you all are doing. And you're just doing it so great. And so I'm going to now roll right into, okay, it's October, and at the end of this month, you're going to have a Freedom Festival on one level in that wheel of turning that education and that community building process. And then you're going to have over on this level, the Black Girl Magic Retreat. So how do you see those two events? Why those two events? And what are you hoping to really wrap into that All Souls weekend? Because it's a powerful blue moon weekend. My goodness, you got the energy up on you for it.
Hey, Q, you want to answer that question? Our Arts and Culture Committee Chair has planned both the Freedom Fall Festival and this Black Girl Magic Retreat in tandem with some of the volunteers. So I'd like to defer to her.
All right, then. Hey, Q.
Hello, everybody. So, well, with help, I have put together the fall festival. A lot of my intention and focus have been on the Black Girl treats, and it's something that the women of the Freedom Georgia Initiative wanted to highlight and put a focus on, with bringing women together from all over and to facilitate a space so that we can cultivate our energies together. You know, it's a lot of power in goddess energy and feminine energy. So we want to really capitalize on that. And also we want to connect with other women in different communities, you know. It's something that we decided to do in the collective. We come together and have a night of just sharing energy and doing magic and spiritual work together. So we decided to do it on a much grander scale. So that was the birthing of the Black Girl Magic retreat.
Ashe. And so the festival that's going to happen a little lower part of the land, I understand that to be more family oriented on Saturday. So is it like kind of your Halloween harvest thing, games for the kids? And
yes,
you know,
it's going to be
awesome.
for the families of the local neighborhoods and wherever, you know, just come and come to our land, and with your family. There'll be trunk or treat, there'll be live music and activities for the children. It's going to be a wonderful experience. Yeah, we're happy to facilitate something for the community. Yeah.
Awesome. And you know, you know, sometimes time travelers like myself see way ahead, and I do see from like the background. I always seem to come up when the news people are interviewing, or the cameras are moving and they're moving and they're moving. And what forms in my mind is the storybook, is that someday, 10 years from now, there'll be clippings of how all these different events happened in the building of Freedom, of Freedom, Georgia, and these freedom cities. And it is, you know, just big props to you, number one, all of you, for even taking on the energy of like, okay, we're going to do this. And yep, we are building the plane while we're flying it. And yep, we are the model. But because we have each other, to the point of both of you, because we're learning our togetherness again. We're learning how to share and exchange these gifts that we all have. Our ancestors blessed them with us. Yes. And all we had to do was like a jigsaw puzzle, figure out what our pieces are. It's so good to know, even though we sweated together this weekend, that you're the arts coordinator, you know, just theater arts manager out of college. That's my lane. But I wouldn't be surprised. We're both seaweed eating mermaids, so I'm not surprised, right?
Yes.
Yep. So that is just really, really inspirational. And you know, well, if you met my friend Victoria, who I said gave me the RV that we think is somehow coming over there, and when she was looking, and she's a permaculture person and just, you know, dealing with the land, a lot of things that we talked about and building the sweat lodge this past weekend. But you know, to even think about the children of the community. I mean, I'm really hearing what you're saying. And I just think in those small areas, you know, with the pandemic and all that's going on, their Halloween is challenged, their church festivals, these natural things that communities did. I know. You know, I had many a Halloween that looked like that. People, you know, when they were putting the razor blades and the apples and things like that, and the old people didn't want you to, you know, necessarily do this. They gather you all up in the church and have the bobbing for apples and have the little gypsy reader and things like that. And so, you know, that's just amazing. And I'm sure the community, you know, in building these relationships between, the new people from Atlanta and the people that are down there, what a grand time. Because the camp out reflected a lot of, you know, people from other cities, from Philadelphia and Chicago and all over. And I imagine it will this time, but that local aspect is just really, really awesome. So if you were, and both of you are marketing a sales pitch, if you were going to give your sales pitch right here to why would you come to Toomsboro, Georgia to do Black Girl Magic on All Hallows weekend, what would be your answer?
Brings up third down and 13.
Well, I would say it's an opportunity to meet some wonderful people who want to do everything for us, by us, and to cultivate our energies together for the betterment of Black people as a whole. So this is just the beginning, and it would be wonderful to have
Daniel Jones have decided to take off running right away.
Have the sisters to be to create a sisterhood with us.
I'm not sure who needs to mute their mic, but we're trying to gently say that in the chat room, that somebody's mic is wide open where it's like maybe they're watching the debate. But I hear you, and that's what I thought about. I thought about even in, I guess we were 6 or 7 women in the lodge this past weekend. And it does build a sense of nurturing and nourishing for yourself, and also to be going through it in a togetherness, to enter into something that, again, some women brought crystals and some women brought, you know, candles, and just we all brought different pieces of it, and just the women that carried the stones, and other members of the community came with bamboo, and you know, and we all came in bringing gifts to this community altar of restoring a sense of sisterhood, a sense of brotherhood, a sense of our larger extended family, and how we talk to one another, how we care for one another. I was just so impressed. Let me just say that again to Brother Steve. I mentioned it to my friend when we were down there today. I said, well, it was the kindest thing. Like a day later or 2 days later, he just called in and said, hey, are you all right? You know, how you doing? And so, you know, these are the things when we remember our relationships to be in family. We, you know, it's not just the birthdays or the parties or something like that, you know, and because, you know, back a little whiles ago, we had to bring healthy elder culture. That was one of the teachings in these earth skills and primitive skills, that we had to sit down with the young people, because we figured out real fast that somebody didn't give them certain cues, and many of them, you know, and more or less these white children in the woods, you know, they run off, got mad with mama and daddy about the corporate or the checkbook or the whatever, and so next thing you know, they're in the rainbow tribe, and they had literally, because they were all youngins, not had any opportunity to be gracious. You know, and something that I guess we're old enough to know, it tells on us, is that it doesn't matter. So, you know, if I see an elder mother, she need help with her bags out the grocery store, mother, can I help you? That's what I'm going to say. I immediately know my blessing to help an older person. You just blessed coming and going on that one, you know, but a lot of people don't, younger people, for whatever woundedness and whatever we've been through in the closing of the Piscean age. Again, I get back to this thing of timing, how this is all rolling, earthbound and heavenbound, as above, so below, into a certain timing of what is being shedded, not only by America, but by our disappointments in our own empowerment or lack of economic sovereignty or economic independence. That all this that you are building together and putting your Black girl magic into, literally, is like it's got tentacles. I don't know. Do we have some other FGI sisters on here that want to, you know, pour that more in the pot? Because I could just go on and rant and raving. I get it. I totally get it. I'm in, as they say. Sign me up. I'm ready to move and shake and give what I can to the person next to me, and give what I can and receive, give and receive, because this is the way that we're going to inch our way out of where we've been. That's the best way to say it. We're just going to go forward out of where we've been, and the things that have served us. I guess it's those personal experiences that we're saying to sisterhood. So I'm going to ask a question that probably, you know, this is one of those that other people say, well, you should have asked. And so do you consider this event the Black girl magic? People will look at that and go, oh, I'm not a Black girl. I'm not even an indigenous girl. I wonder if I'd still be welcome to come. What would be your response, Q? And we might be totally out of the No?
I'm sorry, Q had to go to a meeting and I have to go to it too.
Oh, okay. So
So sorry. Is Ashley
it's
still
okay.
here?
I'm trying to figure out who's there.
I can answer the question if
Okay,
Ashley's
great.
gone. So what
Okay.
was it again? Because I was about to.
Right. The question was, you know, there are some things that we have not been so welcomed into. And so my question was, and people seeing the invite, and from what I do here, and let's make that clear, that the way that you are asking to the Black Girl Retreat, even though we do have a flyer, we do have mention of it, the Freedom Fest is open. But from what I understand, I just want one of you to speak to that. The Black Girl Magic is a sister-to-sister invite. And so speak to that a little bit. The question in its little snap part right there was whether or not it's a predominantly BIPOC event with
Yes.
someone. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you very much,
Okay.
Ashley. That's why you my girl.
I
See?
did. I put it
Yeah.
on. 'Cause that's the reason why we did it as an invitation only event.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why sometimes we do have to
Okay.
do invitation only things. Because
Yes.
sometimes it's just for us. And we
That's
should have.
correct.
Lodge got one of my favorite songs. And excuse me to the elders on here, but I'm gonna say a curse words. Some shit is just for us. Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
can we breathe?
Mm-hmm.
Can we live? Can we do what
Exactly.
we need to do to heal? Because here's the thing, and I put this out on a Facebook message at one point. When we find out that a child is being abused inside of a home, we immediately remove that child from the home, period. Even if we don't even have all of the proof that they are even being abused, will remove a child
Mm-hmm.
out of the care and the presence of their oppressor, of their abuser. Only in America are we supposed to continue to have this Munchausen syndrome and constantly be in the face of our abusers.
Mm-hmm.
And so in order to heal, in order to take a minute to be able to feel good about our own self, our own culture, and the fact that we can be a tribe and a village and heal as Black women, we need to be able to do that. So I was specific when I send out my invitation. I send it to woman, Black woman, and industrial woman. And no, you can't always tell by who a person genuinely is from the color of their skin. But I've been traumatized enough by people who don't share the same skin tone as I do to know that in my healing space, I want to be able to look to my left and look to my right and see myself.
Mm-hmm.
And in the Black Girl Magic Retreat, which is a sacred, safe space to do energetic work, to cry out to my ancestors who also share the same skin tone as me, the same culture as me, the same geographical experiences as me, that looked at the same stars and cried out and spared not. I want to be in a sacred and safe space with people who understand this collective trauma that we need to release on this full blue moon. Because that's what a full moon is about releasing those things that no longer serve you. And that's what Hallows Eve is about getting in contact with your ancestors and being able to reverence them and to be able to reach through the veil to hear them and get that guidance from them. And it's something that's sacred about what can happen when women, Black women, get together and do this work. And that's what it was for. And that's why it's an invitation only event.
Unapologetically. That's it, you know. And so you preaching to the choir, but I'm glad you said it, because I can clip it and put it on my YouTube channel. But that's the real, you know. And being a woman that has done 20 plus years, almost 30 years of women's retreat, where women of our color would trickle in or maybe not. And then the rest of the white girls would be, why don't you bring no friends? You know, you should bring. And I said to him one night, it was, I don't know, but it was a very, very kind of solemn, must have been a dark moon. It was kind of a solemn setting. And there were 3 among probably 25 or so women in the room of us that were women of color. And that question was put out there kind of like as the talking stick was moving around. And, you know, I answered it just right off top. And went to the same place that you went to. Let me see if I can help you. Okay? You as the daughters of Miss Scarlett in the house are not to be calling the help in here to cry and spill and heal and just spill their guts of their woundedness. Bye. Yo men we're not, this is not the kumbaya moment. And you have to stop and respect the space that we as women are doing what we need to do. And whether it's in our beauty parlors or it's in the back choir room of our churches, wherever it is, do know that it exists. And the sororities and the AKAs and the deltas do know that it exists. And they are moving, you know, because they're not sitting around here lighting the candles in the center with you. You can't pull it back. You have to give us the same space. We never got to take it for our own. Thank you very much. Because we have served your needs and been at the end of your use and abuse. And so, no, that's not the healing spot. We're real clear about that. And we deserve as much privacy, you know, as you would feel that is necessary. So I'm very glad that you spoke to it, you know, and some things you just got to do it straight, man. No chaser. Boom. That's it. And yeah, and it's number love in the room. We're not saying it because we're particularly mad, but we are saying it. And I listened at the beginning, at the top of your story, and the first thing that came up from you, of course, I went to all three funerals of George Floyd via the machine world. And just where that layers of that breath that we all had to move through in that 8 minutes, the ripples that it would send out are powerful enough to bring that freedom, Georgia, and say, oh no, we're not taking this laying down, but watch us rise up. Watch this rise up. And the ancestors just moved it just like that. And just like that. Yeah, just like that. By mid-June, y'all were on the roll.
That's
you know? And so it's just powerful. And it's powerful when we remember the power and the medicine of Imhotep and those who built the pyramids and how come they're still standing while other people's stuff is crumbling and falling. And so, yeah, I don't think that we have to apologize whatsoever. So I think this is the part now, better part of an hour, that we get to say whatever we think are the last parts. We want anyone to know about coming to join us in October, or maybe things that you're looking forward to before the year ends. What's up for FGI? Beyond what, you know, what we're going toward right here at the end of the month, which is great. And I'm really excited about it.
Well, exciting thing is that we are getting ready to close on another 404 acres of land. We will be pre-selling that to people who are members of the Black Achievement Fund and who have indicated an interest in wanting to live in Freedom, Georgia. Right after that, we're having our New Year's Eve gala here in Atlanta. So it won't be on the land, but it will be in Metro Atlanta. It'll be a fundraiser, an opportunity for us to get some big dollars in so that we can do the work that it takes to build a city. Because as you all can probably imagine, to actually build infrastructure for over 500 acres of land, it's going to be a pretty expensive endeavor. And so those galas are important to us to be able to share our story, to amplify our voices, and to really let people know why what we're doing is so important, and to give people a chance to party too. Because like we ain't been getting out too much lately, so it'll be very limited. We'll be selling only 100 tickets to the gala, and we're finding a really, you know, large space that is available for social distancing purposes. We're going to have live music. We're also strategically aligning ourselves with other organizations that can do great benefit for the Black community. So even before our New Year's Eve gala, we will be announcing our partnership with a Black-owned credit repair business credit and business funding company called Nove Money, where we are helping to increase Black families' credit profiles, because what a lot of people don't know is that an 800 credit score is worth $100,000 in credit wealth that you can leverage for business building or home purchasing. And so when we can create 100 people with 800 credit scores, that creates $100 million that we can then leverage within our businesses, that can then we can leverage those profits that we then generate from the credit that we've leveraged to do better work in our own communities. So our partnership with Nove Money is about helping people get prepared to be financially astute and financially educated so that they can make better decisions for themselves to help them create generational wealth and legacy. Because that's the conversation that everybody should be having at their dinner table. It's how do we create a legacy? Because that's when George Floyd was murdered. It should have sounded the alarm. Things has to change for Black folks, and the thing that has to change is our ability to have power. Power means you can change things, and you can't have power in a capitalist society without capital. And so we need to get our people prepared to access capital. And that's what our partnership with Nove Money is about. So you'll be able to visit www.novemoney.com/freedom to get those financial education resources around credit and business credit, because a lot of us are, working on our personal credit, but we're not doing what we need to do to leverage our business credit. And that's something that we should all be doing, especially when we talk about economic power and political power. And then our goal is to have our farmhouse built and our start farming as early as March of 2021. So that is the trajectory. We will be having events. I'm sure we're going to have some kind of a spring festival, some kind of a Black version of Coachella on the land once the time is right. We're going to constantly be doing things until as we build it, because houses will come eventually. We want to put a lake on the land, but our focus is building attention and awareness around legacy building, land purchasing, and these events that are going to be central to healing and just central to fellowshipping with other Black families and Black folk, so that we can, feel good, feel joy, feel that spirit of being in nature. Because when we get out to that land, it's a wonderful feeling. So anytime and every time we can invite people to the land, we'll come up with a reason to go to the land, even if it's camping or a birthday, something, because it's gorgeous, and we want people to really be able to experience what it's like to be on this land. And what I didn't share is that this land was very pivotal to the Creek and the Oconee Native Americans, the Oconee River tribe. And so I'm sure that our Native American ancestors are well pleased. And when we built that Sweat Lodge, like, I just know that we are, doing great work, and we're going to keep going down that path. And whenever we have a chance, you guys follow us on our Instagram page at Freedom Georgia 2020. That's Freedom GA 2020. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Freedom GA 2020. The number is 2020. And stay in touch with us. You can visit our website, www.Georgia.Freedom Georgia, and then you spell Georgia out. That's GEORGIA.com, and connect with us, because whenever we're doing anything, it definitely will be on our website, Instagram, and Facebook pages.
Speaking knowledge to power, sister. You hit that commercial. I was like, okay, so tell them the Facebook, tell them the Instagram. You hit it all. And because people can't help but listen to the story and get excited. Like, where do I know? Yeah, can I be one of those 100 on New Year's Eve in the room with these freedom people, man? So I'm excited that you gave that information. I was saying to my friend today, back in 2016, we did Four Tribes for Peace as a festival in a way to bring the tribes together. And it was up in the stockades where the Cherokee were held on their way to the Trail of Tears. And so we'd love to see it return again in 2021 at some point, just saying, from the Kindred of Sangoma, possibly. We don't know, but we're excited about everything the new year is birthing. Thank goodness we'll be out of the shadows of a lot of things in this very life-changing 2020 that we've been in, the closing of the Piscean age. As you know, we go into the age of Aquarius as of the winter solstice in December. And so, yeah, again, that's what that 19 is for me, but I numerology all the time. I'm like, yeah, that 1 and that 9, a new beginning, a 1, a 10. Hey, man, we on the road. We finna move out here. It's a charge in the air. As you say, that call is out. And so however it goes, from the business end to the heartbeat of the drum beat and rituals and ceremonies. And, I'm quite sure great teachers are coming in. I expect that, folks like Maladoma Somé and who knows. But you're right. The ripples are going to go, far and wide. We saw it in the Black Campout. I'm amazed that people, they're there by Friday and leaving out again on Sunday to return wherever that was, Philadelphia or New Jersey. And I'm like, whoa, that is some powerful determination right there. In the midst of a pandemic, in the midst of what's going down, to get in your car and say, no, man, I need to be a part of that freedom vibe. I'm going to just sit there with my hibachi, man. We going to grill. We gonna run the science, man, whatever it is. And that's what they did. And it was so chilling. You know what I mean? And people would be amazed. I'm telling you, the difference for me is the chaotic energy that, because the pressure is on out here in the matrix. The pressure is on jobs and unemployment. Are they going to send another stimulus? But to, like you say, get in that land and it all drops, and it just does get as simple. Like, can you get some more wood for the fire? Can you get this, and it just gets so simplified where finally we can find that breath that George Floyd was looking for and so many others have looked for. And in the name of all of them, I that's what humbles me. What humbles me, because we all hate in our grief of what happened. We hate to say that their lives went for nothing. And so for every one of those soldiers that were taken down, now we see the soldiers of the freedom cities and the freedom villages coming back up. Because again, as Maya says, still we rise. Like dust we will rise. I love the dust on the land. And so we empower it. And Baba Yusuku, if there's anything else, because you call in the Ring and Stone booth, so if there's anything else you would like us to touch on about the Freedom Georgia Initiative, now's your time to holler. And I can see you, but I can't hear you. You're still on mute.
Yeah, I'm working this out. I'm definitely working it out. No, I'm just enjoying and listening. It's been nice. It's been an honor because I've been dying to meet y'all. You know what I mean? For me, it's like a resurrection. Like, this is the third time in my life that people of color have decided to move away from white folk. And the last time was when Dr. York and the Empress and people sold their land and came, and they were interrupted. But to me, I believe this time things work on the 26,000 year cycle. So I truly believe that the energy for y'all to be successful is because in the 26,000 year cycle, that's your energy for us to be in. That separation, even with the pandemic and what would have been an uprising by Black people throughout the cities of America, people were frustrated and ready to leave. And so some of that is people are willing to leave. And some, to take off what Sangoma said, there's people that came down there, from what I heard, that didn't even know how to set up tents, but they decided to just come. Right. And so that's a beautiful thing. And y'all could be like the forebearer, the forerunner on the dissatisfaction. And how do we satisfy? And that is having our own, you know what I mean? Like that. And so I'm very, very proud of it. You see, I got on my guard because I'm like, this is spiritual. You know what I mean? And it's true, because I mean, that's one of the things that they do. You know, they don't want us around them, but then they don't want us to leave. And so I believe that for our ability to leave and be guided, well, not I believe, I know, is that we got our ancestors at the time that they're coming in. And I also see that there are lots and lots of people of color that are celebrating Halloween. You know what I mean? Where we thought it was taboo, but this year, so it's a big, big deal. And so I appreciate you giving the Ringing Stone Network the opportunity to interview you. And I'm going to end up posting it on my other blog and my YouTube so that more and more people can hear about it and let y'all be the example, you know, for hopefully more and more people decide, you know, we don't have to hate you, but we just want to be free for our own self-expression in our own language, in our own way of life, you know. So I appreciate y'all, you know what I mean? And definitely sending good energy and protection for y'all to be successful. Yes,
Awesome.